The US, India, and Pakistan have long been entangled in a web of shifting alliances and strategic interests, with each country navigating its own priorities in a region marked by rivalry and uncertainty. Their relationships have been shaped by global events, regional conflicts, and the ambitions of their leaders. For decades, the US tried to balance relations with both India and Pakistan, two nuclear neighbors with a history of conflict and deep mistrust. American policymakers often found themselves walking a diplomatic tightrope, seeking to prevent escalation while advancing US interests. During the Cold War, Pakistan emerged as a key US ally, receiving significant military and economic aid. This partnership was driven by the US desire to counter Soviet influence in the region, but it often strained US-India ties and fueled suspicions in New Delhi. India, meanwhile, pursued a policy of non-alignment, refusing to formally join either the US or Soviet blocs. However, India leaned toward the Soviet Union for support, especially in defense and technology, keeping Washington at arm's length and forging its own independent path. The end of the Cold War and India's sweeping economic reforms in the 1990s dramatically shifted this dynamic. As India opened its markets and modernized, the US and India found new common ground, drawing closer as partners in technology, trade, and as a counterweight to China's growing influence. Yet, the Kashmir dispute remained a persistent flashpoint, with the US repeatedly calling for peace, but often caught in the crossfire of its relationships with both countries. The unresolved conflict continued to test American diplomacy. After 9/11s, the US needed Pakistan's cooperation in Afghanistan, making the relationship even more complex. This necessity sometimes complicated Washington's growing partnership with India, as the US juggled competing priorities in the region. Over the years, US policy gradually pivoted toward India, emphasizing shared democratic values, economic interests, and a vision for a free and open Indo-Pacific. Strategic cooperation deepened, from defense deals to joint military exercises. But under the Trump administration, this trend saw a surprising reversal, with Washington signaling a renewed embrace of Pakistan. This shift unsettled the established order, and raised new questions about America's long-term strategy in South Asia. This sudden change sent shockwaves through the region, leaving both New Delhi and Washington reassessing the future of this critical triangle. The uncertainty has only added to the complexity of South Asian geopolitics. Understanding this intricate history is key to grasping the dramatic changes unfolding today, as the US, India, and Pakistan continue to shape the future of the region and the world. The Trump administration has upended South Asia's diplomatic landscape by warming relations with Pakistan, a country it once criticized for harboring terrorists. High-profile visits by Pakistan's army chief, including a White House meeting, signaled Washington's intent to rebuild ties with Islamabad. The US is now promising economic cooperation, eyeing Pakistan's natural resources and emerging cryptocurrency market. For Pakistan, this means new investment and a chance to diversify away from China. Meanwhile, US-India relations have cooled, with trade disputes and political tensions undermining the once-strong partnership. Pakistan's nomination of Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize, after his claimed role in de-escalating Kashmir tensions, was a diplomatic coup. India rejected Trump's claims, but the gesture cemented the US-Pakistan thaw. These moves have fundamentally altered South Asia's diplomatic environment, creating uncertainty for all three nations. The region is now navigating a new, unpredictable chapter. In August 2025, Pakistan's Army Chief, Field Marshal Asim Munir, issued a direct and unprecedented nuclear threat against India, on American soil, during a high-profile visit to the United States. The world watched in disbelief as Munir, standing before a global press corps, made his intentions unmistakably clear. He warned that any misstep by India could trigger a devastating conflict, declaring, "If we go down, we'll take half the world with us." The chilling statement sent shockwaves through diplomatic circles, as it was the first time such a threat was delivered so openly on US soil. Munir also threatened to destroy any Indian dam on the Indus River, escalating tensions over water resources and raising fears of a new front in the long-standing rivalry between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. These remarks, made during what was supposed to be a goodwill visit, shocked the international community and raised urgent questions about the future of US-Pakistan relations, as well as the stability of the region. the US suddenly found itself hosting a foreign leader openly threatening nuclear war against another key partner, putting Washington in an extremely difficult diplomatic position. India swiftly condemned the remarks as reckless nuclear blackmail, vowing not to be intimidated and warning of severe consequences if provoked. Indian officials questioned the wisdom of such inflammatory statements and demanded a strong response from the US, putting additional pressure on American policymakers. The incident dramatically heightened tensions and exposed the volatility simmering beneath South Asia's surface, reminding the world how quickly the situation could spiral out of control. It also raised concerns about whether US policy had inadvertently emboldened Pakistan's military leadership, and whether Washington could still act as a stabilizing force in the region. The world watched anxiously as the stakes in the region grew even higher, with the threat of nuclear conflict looming larger than ever before. Just a day after Munir's nuclear threat, the US designated the Balochistan Liberation Army, BLA, as a foreign terrorist organization. The BLA, a secessionist group fighting for Balochistan's independence, has targeted Pakistani security forces and infrastructure. Balochistan is vital to China's Belt and Road Initiative, making the region strategically important. For Pakistan, the US move was a diplomatic win, bolstering its claims that the BLA is a terrorist group supported by rivals like India. India denied any links, but the timing of the designation, amid warming US-Pakistan ties, deepened New Delhi's unease. The decision highlighted a growing tilt in US policy, aligning more closely with Pakistan's security concerns. For India, it was another sign of strategic isolation. Amid these diplomatic shifts, violence in Kashmir has surged, once again drawing the world's attention to this long-standing flashpoint. The region, already tense from decades of unrest, has seen a dramatic escalation in recent months. In April 2025, a deadly attack in Pahalgam killed 26 civilians, sparking outrage and mutual recriminations between India and Pakistan. The tragedy left families shattered and communities gripped by fear, as both nations traded accusations over responsibility for the violence. May saw direct military clashes, pushing both countries to the brink of wider conflict. The line of control became a flashpoint, with artillery fire and troop movements raising the specter of a larger war. President Trump claimed to have brokered a ceasefire, but India rejected this, crediting its own efforts and diplomatic channels for de-escalation. The announcement highlighted the complex interplay of international actors in the region. In July, Indian forces killed 3 Pakistani militants in Srinagar, including a Lashkar-e-Taiba commander linked to the Pahalgam attack. The operation was hailed as a major success by Indian authorities but also fueled further tensions. The US designated the Resistance Front, a Lashkar-e-Taiba offshoot, as a terrorist group, an action welcomed by India. This move was seen as a significant step in the global fight against terrorism, but its impact on the ground remains uncertain. Yet, these moves seemed inconsistent alongside the broader US pivot toward Pakistan, raising questions about Washington's true intentions and the future of its South Asia policy. The cycle of violence in Kashmir remains a stark reminder of the region's fragility. Ordinary people continue to bear the brunt, living under curfews and constant uncertainty, as hopes for peace seem ever more distant. Each incident is now entangled with shifting alliances and great power politics, making the path to resolution more complex than ever before. The stakes for peace, and for escalation, have never been higher, as the world watches and waits to see what the next chapter in Kashmir's troubled history will bring. India now faces a dual challenge: rising threats from Pakistan and a perceived drift from its US partnership. The government responded to Pakistan's nuclear rhetoric with firm resolve, vowing to protect national security. The US designation of the BLA complicated matters, putting India on the defensive against Pakistan's accusations. Warming US-Pakistan ties have fueled doubts in New Delhi about the reliability of its American alliance. Domestically, pressure is mounting for India to show strength, especially after recent attacks in Kashmir. India has hardened its security posture, reassessing alliances and seeking new partners like France, Russia, and Japan. The vision of a steadfast US-India alliance to counter China now seems distant. India must navigate this new reality with a mix of military readiness and diplomatic agility. The Trump administration's pivot to Pakistan is driven by political ambition, economic interests, and a transactional approach to foreign policy. Trump's desire for a diplomatic win, bolstered by Pakistan's Nobel nomination, aligns with his business-oriented strategy. The US sees opportunity in Pakistan's resources and crypto market, offering Islamabad an alternative to Chinese dependence. Trade disputes with India have further soured relations, with Washington using its Pakistan ties as leverage. This approach has transformed the US-India relationship from strategic to transactional. The administration also hopes closer ties with Pakistan will yield cooperation on Afghanistan and counterterrorism. It's a high-stakes gamble, trading a steady partnership with India for short-term gains with Pakistan. The outcome remains uncertain, with risks for all involved. The US policy shift has plunged South Asia into uncertainty, with outcomes ranging from fragile peace to dangerous conflict. In the best case, US engagement could foster de-escalation in Kashmir, if diplomacy prevails. More likely, the pivot risks destabilizing the region, emboldening Pakistan and alienating India. A miscalculation could trigger a catastrophic conflict between two nuclear powers. For the US, it's a high-risk gamble. Success could restore influence, but failure would damage credibility and empower China. The future of South Asia depends on choices made in Washington, New Delhi, and Islamabad. The US can catalyze change, but cannot impose peace. The region stands at a crossroads, with the world watching and hoping for restraint. The stakes could not be higher.